Parashat Toldot. Tuf Shiem Pai Vuv B'Siyata D'Shmaya. I'm going to start with something cute, if you could call it cute. Every word in the Torah is cute. The beginning of the parsha, after Yitzchok and Rivka davened to Hashem, and Hashem gave them children, they were Zoiche, to Yaakov and Esav. And the Torah goes on and tells us that when they became big, Vayigdulu HaNaorim, Esav was Yedei Atzayit. He used to go around and hunt animals. And Yaakov was Ishtam Yoshev Aholem. And one day Esav comes back after a busy, hectic day of hunting animals. It was actually the day that Avram Avinu was nifter. And he sees his brother Yaakov that he's making a nozid, a nezid adashim. He was cooking adashim. Adashim in English you call adashim. Lentils. Lentils. He was cooking lentils for a Seder Savruah, and he tells Yaakov, Haliteini no mino odom odom azeh. Just give me from this red tafshel that you're cooking, stuff me up. Haliteini nu. Rashi explains, I'm gonna lie down and you're gonna fill me up, you're gonna stuff me up with the adashim, because I'm very tired. I don't have any koyach. Yaakov asks him he should sell him the bechoire instead. Michru kayoim as bechoiros chuli. And Esav says, yeah, why not? I'm anyway about to die. Lamuz ali bechoire. He made a shviyah and he sold him. We usually learn this parsha. The Rebbes in the Cheder explain that actually Yaakov did what Esav asked him for. And there's even a picture how you see that Esav is lying down and Yaakov is taking a big, how do you say it? A shepleffel. You take out a little, what is it? How do you spell it? L-A-D-E-L? L-A-D-E-L. He takes a big ladle and he pours into the mouth of Esav. What? Oh, L-A-D-L-E, rather, yeah, a ladle, yeah. So, and he stuffs up Esav and he sold the bechoire. I have a friend, his name is Mordche Brim. They call him Mota Brim, Biyana Chosid. He always tells me that he can't understand. And if Esav asks, Haliteini no, stuff me up, Yaakov has to go along with all of his mishigassen. It's not the recheretz to eat that way. And Yaakov should go and stuff up. More than that, the pasuk goes on, and the pasuk says, "Ve'Yaakov nosal le'Esav lechem in ezid adashim." He gave him. It doesn't say that he stuffed him up. He has a picture that he gives out for the children. Another picture, how you see over there, Yaakov standing next to the table and arranging everything nice, pouring bread on the table and a nice bowl of nezid adashim. And everything should be a nice arranged table in order for Esav to eat. And then you see Esav lying, and Esav is holding the whole bowl of adashim, and he's pouring it into his mouth. And like Yaakov is standing at the side and he's like wondering and he can't believe it, what's going on over there? Because he claims that Esav Taka asked Haliteinu, but Yaakov was willing to go. I'm willing to give you to eat, but you could eat like a normal person. Sit down on a chair, and I'm going to serve you a lechem and a zid adashim. And Lamasa, Esav afterwards ate it, because it says in Pasuk, Vayoichal, Vayesh, he ate and he drank everything. But Esav was so hungry, he couldn't wait. And if he saw that Yaakov is not making the Haliteinu, so he by himself poured in. After he was already a little bit satisfied from his hunger, then he sat down by the table, and he ate what Yaakov Avinu served him normally. So he has such a picture. And he tells me that once he was by the shul of Rav Elyashiv, Zeicher Tzadik Levruche, and someone went over to Rav Elyashiv and told him, you see this Ingeman, he is a nice drawer, he makes pictures for the Chadorim, for the children, And he shows him this picture, and that's different than what usually children have a cheder. That you see how Yankov is pouring with a ladle into the mouth of Esav. And he explains to Rabbi Yashiv the reason why he did like this, because it doesn't say in the passage that was what Yaakov did. It said that that's what Esav asked for. But Yaakov nosal Esav lechem and zidadashim. He served them normally. And Rabbi Yashiv said it's poshut that's the pshat. It's simple that was the case, that Yaakov didn't pour into Esav. Esav, if he was hungry, he took by himself and he poured into his mouth. Yaakov served him like a mensch by a table, lechem and zidadashim. He didn't get carried away because of what Esav requested. He has to dance along with all of his mishigas, what he wants. He gave him. You need to eat, I'm going to give you to eat, but I'm going to serve you normally. Burichatu Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol niu b'dvoroi. Shkoyach. Now, the Rebbe Zechaide usually explain the posik, V'Yaakov nosal Esav lechem and zidadashim, and the posik goes on and says, Vayoichal, Vayesht, Vayokom, Vayelach, Vayivaz Esav esab choyre. He was mevaze. How do you say mevaze in English?
Shamed.
He is shamed b'choyre. Again, what?
Despised.
Despised? Despised. He despised the b'choyre. He was mevaze the b'choyre. He despised the b'choyre. Esav. So, meaning to say, he gave it away for mamish nothing. He didn't even need it. It's like it was like hefke by him. I don't need it. For anything, you could get it from me. But the Rebbe is explaining like this. Vayoichal, he ate without washing his hands. He didn't make the tilas yadayim before he ate the lechem, the bread. Vayesht, he drank without a bracha. Vayokom, he stood up without benching. Vayelach, he went without kissing the mezuzah. Vayivaz Esav esab choyre, his whole anuge, his whole way how he lived, was despising the Bechor. It wasn't meant for him to be a Bechor. His whole matziv, his whole holach yelech, the way he was acting didn't suit that he should be a Bechor. Vayivaz Esav esab choyre. And the holach yelech of Esav, on his every tenuah, every what he did, every tenuah, every movement of his wasn't suited for a Bechor that has to do the avoid in the Beis HaMikdash. So we see from this that by Ya'er L'Chayid, you could see on every movement of his how he serves Hashem, and by Rosh is the opposite. So I heard lately a story. There was in London a Malamed. His name was, I think he's nifter already. His name was Reb Gavriel Baum. He was a Chassidish Yid, from the old timers, a Chassidish Yid. He was a Rebbe in the young kittas, Kitta Aleph, Kitta Beis, I don't know exactly which Kitta. And once there came a group from Mechon. There's a lot of Mechonim that help children that have problems with reading. Mechon L'Kriyah. If you have to know how to read, they help you. They have all methods how to help you, teach you how to read. He was a Malamed and a Cheder. And those people came from this Mechon L'Kriyah from Eretz Yisrael, came to London for a visit, and they were going around in all Chadurim looking out for children that have keshayim, hardships in reading, in absorbing the oisias, the letters, the nekudot, the vowels, exactly how to pronounce. And they were trying to help with all of the new methods that they have. When they came into his kitta of this Reb Gavriel Baum, at the beginning, he tells them, when they explain to him what's the reason why they are coming, he tells them you could go check around, but in my class, I never had such a problem, and I won't have Bezrat Hashem such a problem. None of the children, all of the years that I'm a Malamed, had a problem reading. And they look at him, how could you say this? He explains very poshut, because in my class, every child washes every morning Negelwasser. How do you say Negelwasser in English? Nail water, yeah? But how do you... That means the water that you prepare next to your bed. When you get up in the morning, you wash...
Morning Nitulatina.
Again?
Morning Nitulatina.
Morning Netilat Yadayim. All right, a good name for Negelwasser. Morning Netilat Yadayim. That you prepare next to the bed and you wash your hands 3 times. 1, 2, right, left, right, left, right, left. So in my kitta, all of the children wash Netilat Yadayim, so there's no such a problem with the Kriya, with the reading. And he explains, how do I know everybody washes Negelwasser? He says, very poshut. Every morning when the children come a cheder, before we start the day, before Moidani, before anything, I make a line, all of the children, and I wash them 3 times. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Only afterwards we start the day with Moidani, davening, learning, eating, whatever. But first is the morning Netilat Yadayim. And that's why they have no problems. Sure. Nice. Now, this is what I wanted to say. One day he says, my mother calls him up and she screams on the phone. She tells him, what's going on with you? Who asked you to put in our children all of this stuff? No one asked you, why can't we do it differently? And he asks her, what's the problem? So she claims that her son wants very, very much, and his mom is urging that he has to have the water for the morning Netilat Yadayim, the Negelwasser, prepared next to his bed. And she says, we have very expensive carpet on the floors, and when they wash the hand, they spill it a lot of times and other things, and it ruins the carpet. What's so bad if they're going to go till the sink, not too far from their bed, and they're going to wash their hands over there? Actually, the Mishnah Brira brings down a Zohar HaKodesh that if you walk Dalat Ames before Netilas Yadayim, Chas v'Shalom, the Zohar HaKodesh says, Chayev Mise, Pachat Pchodem. There are some killers. Some say that the whole room is considered Dalat Ames. So if it's in the room, Koli Baise, Dalat Ames Chashive. There are some killers if you want. But the true way, the right way how to do it is to have next to your bed prepared Negelwasser. More than that, even the Maggid from Ezrich says that you shouldn't even more than Dalat, not even less than Dalat Ames, you shouldn't stand up before Negelwasser. He brings even the pasuk Yisyatzev al derech loy toiv, ra loy imos. There's a pasuk in Tehillim, Yisyatzev, if you stand on a way, not a good way, ra loy imos. You won't, how do you say, despise, you mentioned before, you won't despise the bad. You're going to like the bad and you won't like the good. Ra lo yimas. So the Maggid explains, the Maggid of Mezrich, if you get up in the morning and you stand before washing, morning Netilat Yadayim Negelwasser, you're a beginner of Yisyatzev, you make a Yitziva, you stand, you get a Yitzivut, where you are al derech loy toiv. You're still on a matzav of loy toiv, so in that day, chas v'shalom, ro lo yimas, you won't have the power to be memais bera and be a oyef toiv, ro lo yimas. So that's what the Maggid says, even less than Dalat Ames. You shouldn't be standing up, right? You sit up on the bed and you wash Negelwasser. Some even wash Negelwasser before you sit up. While you're still lying in the bed, you wash Negelwasser. But, so, this mother tells him, why do you put it into our children that they have to, you force them that they have to have Negelwasser right next to the bed? And she was like screaming at him. And he tells her, excuse me, but I never told the children that they should prepare Negelwasser next to the bed. That wasn't what I said in the Cheder. It's not true. You stop blaming me for nothing. So she says, but how could it be? My son comes home and he says, the Rebbe said you have to have prepared the morning Netilas Yadayim water right next to the bed. He tells her, look, I'm going to tell you what I said the Cheder and tell me if I did something wrong. I said the Cheder that Yaakov Avini prepared Negelwasser next to his bed. And Esav Arosha didn't prepare Negelwasser next to his bed. Did I say anything wrong? What, isn't that right what I said? Do you think differently that Yaakov Avinu didn't prepare Negelwasser next to his bed? For sure Yaakov Avinu prepared the morning till his time. Esav Arosha for sure didn't prepare. So what do you want from me? If your child understood what he has to do, all right, he understood what he wants to do. But I gave the children what Yaakov Avinu did and what Esau did. Such a good way. If you want to put into the children good things, a lot of time we try to convince them, you have to do like this, you have to do like this. Once the Malam them used to put it in the other way. They used to speak about Avram, Yitzchok, and Yaakov, and tell them what they did. How Avram Avinu davened, how Avram Avinu made the broche, how it looked by Yishmuel, how it looked by Esau. And then the child absorbs alone and he understands. Do I want to be like Chaz v'Shalom, Esau or Yishmuel? Or I want to be like Avram, Yitzchok, and Yaakov? You put it in the other way around, you get it in the message to the children. You picture them, Avram, Yitzchok, and Yaakov, how every good thing they did, and Chaz v'Shalom, the bad things, how Esau did it, and Yishmuel. And that's how the things get in. Now let's start the parsha. Vayetar Yitzchok l'Hashem l'noichach ishtoi ki yakuru hi. Yitzchok davened to Hashem, not stam. He davened a lot. Rashi says Vayetar is meloshen hirba vehiftzir betfila. He was marbe, he was maftzir betfila to Hashem. L'noichach ishtoi ki yakuru hi. Because she was an akora, and vaya'aser lo Hashem, Hashem accepted his tefillah. V'ata Rivka ishto, his wife, his wife Rivka became pregnant. V'ata Rivka ishto. Vaya'aser lo Hashem. Now, I think that I saw that the Chido brings down in one of his Sforim, or in the Sefer is Simchas Uregel. He has a parish on the Agodah Shal Pesach, Simchas Uregel, and by Nishmas of the Agodah Shal Pesach, he quotes over there the Chidah like this, that we see a lot of the Machzorim, they put up by the end of Nishmas, Befi Yeshorim Tisroimam, the Rosh Tevis of Yitzchok and Rivka. Yeah? Yeshorim is a Yud, Tisroimam has a Reish. Then after Tzivisiv say Tzadikim, Tizborech. Tzadikim starts with a Tzadik, Tizborech has a base. If we'll show in Chasidim Tizkadosh, Chasidim is a Ches, Tizkadosh is a Kuf. And then if we care of Kedoshim Tizhalol, Kedoshim is a Kuf, Tizhalol is a High. So Yitzchok is Yeshorim, Tzadikim, Chasidim, Kedoshim. And Rivka is Tizroimam, Tizborech, Tizkadosh, Tizhalol, that's Yitzchok and Rivka. That's how you see in a lot of Machzorim. And have it big, those letters, Yitzchok and Rivka. The truth is, it says that Yitzchok and Rivka together is Begematria Tefillah. Yitzchok is 208, Rivka is 307. Together it's 515, the Begematria of Tefillah. Yitzchok and Rivka, their Tefillah, they davened over here, that there should be Zoiche to children. Vayata Yitzchok l'Hashem, here bevivtze betfillah. So the Chidu over there explains that the reason why we put it in by Nishmas, to show us that even Yitzchok and Rivka, that there were such big tzaddikim and tzidkonis, they needed to daven and daven and daven to Hashem. Because Hashem loves a tefillah of a yid. So we too should know that we shouldn't say, all right, I don't have koyach to daven. No, Adarabah, this is what Hashem wants from us. Try again, another tefillah, another tefillah. Vayetar hirba vehiftzeh betefillah. Learn from Yitzchok and Rivka how to daven. We could even mention more than that. I want so brought down that noichach, it says over Vayetar Yitzchok l'Hashem l'noichach ishtoi. Noichach is Rosh Tevis nishmas kol chai. A remes to the tefillah of Nishmas. And like we mentioned now, in the end of Nishmas, there's the remes of Yitzchok and Rivka. Maybe it could be a remes that they davened, and when they davened, they said Nishmas kol chai. They were asking for neshamois. They were asking to have the schiyah to bring down Yiddish neshamois, that they should be serving Hashem and praising Hashem's name. Nishmas kol chai, tevorech et shimcha Hashem Elokeinu. V'ruach kol baset tefor Yisroimim, that was their tefillah. Nishmas kol chai, l'noichach ishtoi. So Lamaise, Rashi says, what's pshat l'noichach ishtoi? That he was standing across his wife. he was standing at this corner, and his wife Rivka was standing by the other corner. Hu oimed bezovi yezu im ispalel, the oimed is bezovi yezu im ispalelas. What's the reason? Why did they daven in two other corners? So I saw the Divrei David, the Tirei Zohav, the holy Tirei Zohav has a Pirush Harashi, Divrei David. He says over there that we see by a korban that when you make Zrika Sadom, you make Shtayim Shen Arba. You put on two corners, and that covers all four sides. You give one Zrika on the corner of Maravis Tzvoinis, one Zrika by Mizrochis Deroimis, so you have all four sides get from the blood of the korban Zrika Sadam. Tefillah is b'mokim korbanos. Tefillah is b'mokim korbanos. So when Yitzchok and Rivka were davening, it was like Zrika Sadam on the Mizbeach. So they were standing by the two corners opposite. So they were covering all four sides to be mispal to Hashem. That's how it says in the Sefer Divrei David. More than that, I saw in the Sefer Mayim Chai, he explains it a little bit more. He says, the Gemara says in Masechta Bava Basra, in the second Perik, the Gemara says, Boi v'nachzik toivel aviseini. We have to be thankful to our parents, Anshe Knesset Agdoyle, that they taught us how to daven, to which side to daven, to the Shechina. They bring it down from a pasuk in Nehemiah, that it says over there that all the Tzva Shomayim lechom mishtachvim. So the Tzva Shomayim come up in the morning from Mizrach, and they daven towards Ma'ariv, where the Shechina is. So we see we have to daven towards the Shechina. So they taught us how to daven, which side to daven. So the Mayim Chaim explains, before the Anshe Knesset Agdoyle taught us how to daven, which side to daven, they didn't yet know. So Yitzchok and Rivka wanted to be sure that they daven to the right side, so they went to the two opposite corners. So like this, they knew for sure they covered the right side. He was davening by Mizrochis Deroimis, Maravis Tzvoinis, Mizrochis Deroimis. So on all four sides they were davening. So for sure they're davening what covered, they were davening to the right side. One of them was the right side where you have to daven, to the right kivun. In the end of the Parsha, when Rivka sends her son Yaakov, she should go into Yitzchok and get the bruches from Yitzchok Avini. And Yitzchok gives the bruche for Yaakov, and he tells him, V'yitan lechu v'alekim mitala shomayim mishmana yoretz v'roiv dogam v'sirosh. Rashi says, what's the loshon V'yitan lechu? Why doesn't he start the bruche with Yitan lechu, Hashem should give you? What's the vuva moise ve'yitan lecha? Rashi says the vav means yitain ve'yachze ve'yitain. Not only he should give you once, he should give you constantly. Yitain ve'yachze ve'yitain. So that's why he starts the bracha with a vav moisif, saying that not only he should give you once, yitain ve'yachze ve'yitain. Now the Sfas Emes explains that that's a gewaltige bracha, because the Gemara brings down in Masechta Yuma that why didn't Hashem give the man once a week? They should have enough for a whole week, once a month, once a year. So the Gemara explains that that's not a bracha, because in that case a person is not connected to Hashem constantly. The Nachash, his kalala was ofar lachmoi. He anyways only feels a tam, he feels a taste of offer, of dust, of earth. So there's no reason he should be asking for good food. Whatever he eats, he feels a taste of earth, of dust. So he does, wherever he goes around, he has food. It's like Hashem was telling the Nachash, I don't want to hear from you, enough. I curse you. The biggest cursing is klal of the Nachash, that you should have whatever you need, wherever you go. I don't want to see you, I don't want to hear from you. The biggest bracha is, I want to see you, constantly. Hashem gave man every day, the Gemara explains. A person has 5 children. He needs to serve seven mouths. His own, his wife, and his 5 children. He went to sleep every night asking Hashem, Hashem, my house is empty. You weren't allowed to leave over from the month from one day to the next. My house is empty. I'm just hoping to you, picking up my hands to you, Hashem. I hope that tomorrow I'm going to have mon for me, my wife, and my 5 children, our 5 children. That's how a person was connected to Hashem. V'yitan l'chu Elokim, says the Sfasemes, the bracha is yitain v'yachzoi v'yitain. He doesn't give you once. He doesn't give you a few $1 million. He gives you every week, every day, whatever you need. This is what he gives you. The bracha is yitain v'yachzoi v'yitain. He constantly gives you. Like this, you're constantly focusing on Hashem the whole time, being connected to Him. That's the bracha, yitain v'yachzoi v'yitain. I saw in the Sefer Chaye Shloime, of Reb Shloime Yu from Sadiger. He lived in Tel Aviv. Reb Shloime Chaim from Sadigura. He was the son of the Oir Yisrael, Rabbi Yisrael from Sadigur. He brings down in his Sefer, in the end, not on this week's Parsha, he brings it in the Lakitim at the end of his Sefer. B'Shem Tzadik Reb Motche from Linitz, that he asks, what's the Lashon v'yachzeh v'yitin? Rather, it should have said, yitin v'yoyse v'yitin. Hashem should give you, and then it should be moyse, he should add and give you more, give you again. Yitain v'yarbe v'yitain. He should add and give you more and more. What's the v'yachzoir? He should be choyze. He says the gewaltige pshat. Chazor a lot of time means, I have charot, I regret. I'm choyze from the Mekach. We made up a deal, but I still could have charot, I could still regret, I could still take back my decision. I have charot. I'm going back on what I said. That's called chazor. He says a lot of times, Hashem gives a person parnasa. After a while, he had a good kufa. He was making a lot of money, and if suddenly he sees how things are worsening, a lot of his things are running bad, and he could start thinking to himself, "Oh, my mazel changed. It's bad. And who says it's going to be good again? I had already my good kufa, my good luck." He shouldn't say like this. He says, "Chaz v'shalom." You just daven to Hashem and ask Him, because even if there was v'yachzoir, he was choizer, he went back on the good, v'yitin is going to still give you again. He says, yitain, Hashem is going to give you. And even if you see chaz v'shalom et kufa that v'yachzoir, it seems that Hashem had charot and he regretted and he says, no, I don't want to give you. Don't think that that's already how the case is going to be always. Don't worry, v'yitain is going to still give you again. Even if there was a kufa of chazorah, be yourself mechazik and Hashem is going to give you. V'yitain is going to give you again. That's a gewaldige bruche. You could also say a pshat, another pshat. What's the v'yachzoir? They say in the name of tzaddikim that a person has to know and live in that way that whatever he has, he gets from Hashem. And not only he got it from Hashem, he gets it from Hashem constantly. Al kol neshime and neshime tahalka. Hashem is giving us life every second that we live. And we have to thank Him for each and every second. The person a lot of time feels whatever he has already. Now, if he wants more, he has to ask for Hashem, give me more. But whatever I have already, I have it from yesterday, from last week, from a month ago. It's not true. Whatever you had yesterday, He still has to give you again today. If He won't give it to you again today, you won't have it. Not because you had it yesterday, you're having it today. You have to get it again from Hashem. So if we would have said, Yitin v'yoyse v'yitin, Yitin v'yarbe v'yitin, so the definition would have been, Hashem gives you, shkoyach, and you ask Hashem, v'yachze v'yitin, He should give you again. Adarab, if it would have said, v'yoyse v'yitin or v'yarbe v'yitin, that would mean, whatever I have already, I want you should add me more, be moisif, be marbe. When you say v'yachze v'yitin, you really explain, you say, that even what you have already, you have to give it to me again. You have to make chazorah. That means review it. Give it to me again. Give it to me again. I constantly need to be bekesher. I need you should give it to me the whole time. There's an interesting Rambam. The Rambam brings in Hilchis Meluchim the Rambam brings that the mitzvah of Mila, Hashem gave only to Avraham Avinu and to Zera Avruam. They got the mitzvah from Mila. And the Rambam explains, who is considered Zera Avruam? Not Yishmael, because only Yitzchok is considered Zera Avruam. And even from Yitzchok, only Yaakov and not Esav. Now, if you can ask anyone why only Yaakov is considered Zera Avruam and not Esav, everybody's going to tell you the known Gemara. There's a Gemara, Ki ve Yitzchok yikare lechuzura. When Hashem tells Avram that only Yitzchok is going to be considered your children, your Zera, the pasuk doesn't say Yitzchok, Ki Yitzchok yikare, Ki ve Yitzchok. So Chazal darshan, be Yitzchok, veloy kol Yitzchok. Only a part of Yitzchok is going to be considered Zera Avram, and not the whole Mishpucha, not all children of Yitzchok. So that's why only Yaakov and not Esav. That's what we know from the Gemara. Comes the Rambam, and the Rambam says like this. The Rambam is in Hilchis Melachim, Peirik Yud, Halacha Zayin. Hamile, the mitzvah of Mile, nitztave ba Avraham Avinu v'zare bilvad. Yotzo zare shel Yishmuel. Yishmuel is not considered Shenemar, ki v'Yitzchok yikare lechu zora, only Yitzchok is considered your Zera, and not Yishmuel. That's why Yishmuel is not considered Zera Avruam. The Yotza Esav also is not included in the mitzvah of Mila. Shara Yitzchok Omar LeYaakov, this week's parsha, after he gets the brachos, and Yitzchok again sends away Yaakov, he should go to Lavan to find over there his shidduch, his match. He sends him over there, and then he goes on and he tells him, V'yitel lecho as birkas Avram lechu elezaracho. So when Yitzchok says Yaakov, this bracha, V'yitel lecho as birkas Avram lechu elezaracho, means to say that birkas Avram, who is considered Zera Avram, only you, Yaakov, and your children, and not Esav. Miklal shehu levado zara shel Avram hamachzik bedosoi. They are being machzik in the das of Avram Avini. Evedarko ya yeshara. And now the kasha is the Gemara in the Dorim learns from the same pasuk of Ki veYitzchok, from where we know only Yitzchok and not Yishmuel. We also learn only Yaakov and not Esav, because beYitzchok veloy kol Yitzchok, only part of Yitzchok and not all children of Yitzchok. So why does the Rambam need to bring a new pasuk of a Yitel lecho as birkas Avram in this week's parsha to teach us and to say that only Yaakov is considered Zera Avram and not Esav? So they say in the name of Reb Chaim from Brisk, Reb Chaim Brisk, that he says, from the pasuk Be Yitzchok, and Chazal say Veloy Kol Yitzchok, we would know that only one of the children of Yitzchok. But who says Yaakov? Maybe only Esav Chaz v'Shulam is considered Zera Avram. It says Be Yitzchok. When you want it definite and say Yitzchok and not Yishmael, very good. If Hashem tells Avram, Ki veYitzchok yikare lechu zora, means Yishmael not. But when you speak about the children of Yitzchok and you say Be Yitzchok v'loy kol Yitzchok, who says Yaakov and not Esav? Maybe it's Esav and not Yaakov. So Be Yitzchok v'loy kol Yitzchok teaches us only part of Yitzchok. But which part of Yitzchok is considered Zera Avram? That's in our week's parsha. That Yitzchok tells Yaakov, V'yitel lecho as birkas Avram lechu elezaracho. That's how we know that only Yaakov is considered Zera Avram and not Esav. That's how Reb Chaim Brisker explains. According to that, his son, the Brisker Rav, goes on and he says, Dafke now, Yitzchok tells this to Yaakov because he wants to send Yaakov, and he tells him, I don't want you should take a wife from the Benois Kenuan. We know that Zera Avruam are not allowed to take from Benois Kenuan. And that's why when Avruam was looking for a shidduch for Yitzchok, he sends Eliezer to his family, to Besiel. He tells him, don't take for my son Yitzchok a match from the Benois Kenuan. Yishmuel, he wasn't makpid. Yishmuel could do whatever he wants. He's not considered Zera Avruam. He could take a wife from wherever he wants. Yitzchok, that he's going to be Mamshech Zera Avruam, has to take from the good families, not from Benois Kenuan. Now the same, when Yitzchok goes on and he tells now Yaakov, I want you to go to Lovan and find over there your shidduch, and he tells him, Lo yisikach isha, vayikru Yitzchok al Yaakov, vayevorech oisoi, and he tells him, Lo yisikach isha mebnois kinuvan, you shouldn't take a wife from the Bnois Kinuvan, I want to send you to Padan Aram. That's when he goes on and he tells him, Hashem should give you the Birkas Avruam because you're going to be the Mamshich of Zer Avruam. That's why I ask you, and I'm being you mitzvah, that I'm telling you that you should only take from our Mishpuch and not take from the Bnois Kinuvan, because you're going to be the Mamshich of Zer Avruam and not Esav. I want to go back to a pasuk in the middle of the Parashat. It says over there, when Yitzchok was in Pelishtim, it says, "Vayizra Yitzchok ba'oretz ahi, vayimtzu b'shana v'ahu, ahi meyu sha'orim v'yivorechei Hashem." Yitzchok was a reya. How do you say zereya? He was planting. Yitzchok planted over there in Pelishtim. Vayizra Yitzchok. Yitzchok planted ba'oretz ahi in that land, and he found b'shana ahi that year meyu sha'orim, and Hashem blessed him. Hashem. Rashi explains what's the idea of shana ahi, oretz ahi. Rashi says it was a hard year. It was a shana kosher. It was a very tough year, and also the land was a tough land, oretz kosher. And usually when you have two hard things, also a tough land and a tough year, no normal chances you should be matzliach that something should grow in your land. And Yitzchok was matzliach that he planted, and how much did it grow by him? Meyu sha'orim. Rashi explains 100 times more than they thought it's going to grow over there. Let's say if somebody said the best estimate that I could give that your land is going to produce such a year, 1,000 kilo of fruits, it gave out 100 times the amount. Meyu sha'orim, because he had the gewaldige bracha from Hashem. And everybody was saying how the posse goes on, and it says that he became so big, and Rashi says they were saying, Zevel pardoisov shal Yitzchok, v'loi kaspa yezovah shal Avimelech. Rather, we should go around and gather the Zevel Pardoisa from Yitzchok. That means the fertilize from his animals, of his predois, rather than the gold and silver of Avimelech, because he became gigantic. Meaning to say, anything from Yitzchok is more worth than the Kaspa Yezovah Shel Avimelech. I once said B'derech Tzachis, my shver, my father-in-law, once told me, I said it already once. He has how do you say it?
Business in England.
Yeah.
He's broken the scraps.
Yeah. Remember it from last year. Givaldi of Yosef Moshe. Amazing. I don't remember it even. Like he said like this. He has a business that he sells gold, rings, necklaces, bracelets for a lot of stores, a lot of shops. And normally there's also competition. Other Hamashpia, other Jews also have the same business. Everybody's looking for customers and trying to have more buyers. So he told me once he used to throw out all of the garbage. He didn't have a shred machine. He used to throw out all the papers, whatever scrap, and one day he looked out of his window and he sees our car arrives next to his office, next to his where he works over there, and goes to the garbage, and he sees a Hamashpia that he knows him, takes out a few bags of garbage, puts it into his trunk, and he goes away. He was wondering in the beginning, why does he need my garbage? Then he understood, probably he wants to see who are his buyers, who are his sellers, for what price, how much, so he could know how to compete him. So since then he bought the shred machine. So whatever he puts before he throws away anything, it's being shredded. So I told him maybe that was also the case by Avimelech. They were coming to Yitzchok to collect his garbage. Zevel Pardois of Shal Yitzchok. They saw that he has such a big atznucha. You have to know what's the secret over here. So when they were going to collect the garbage to see, Zevel Pardois of Shal Yitzchok, that was even more than Kasper Zova Shal Avimelech. But, so interesting, the Ben Ish Chai brings down a Parashat Tzitzovim that a Yid, everybody should remember, if he could remember, on Rosh Hashanah at night, to say this pasuk 12 times. This pasuk, Vayizra Yitzchok ba'oretz ahi, vayimtzu b'shana v'ahi, meyu sh'orim v'yivorachei Hashem. Pshat is very poshut. We're on the beginning of the year. In this pasuk we see, it could be a hard land, Eretz Kosher. It could be a tough year, a Shana Kosher. If you have the bracha of Hashem, no matter what, he was so much liach that his land gave production, meyu sha'orim, 100 times more than they estimated that it could give out such a land, so produce in such a year. So you should say this 12 times. Maybe we could add a little bit more. Rosh Hashanah refers to Yitzchok because we are the whole time busy mentioning the schus of Akedas Yitzchok. And even the blowing shofar is Zeicher Le'aylo Shal Yitzchok. Yeah, the Keren of Aylo Shal Yitzchok. Maybe we could say even a gematria. The two words of Vayizra and Ba'oretz, Yitzchok is in the middle. Vayizra Yitzchok Ba'oretz. You take away the word Yitzchok. Vayizra Ba'oretz is begematria shofar. Yitzchok means Yitzchok Avinu. So Vayizra Yitzchok Ba'oretz is a remes, Yitzchok and shofar. How many times do we blow with shofar? We say Meyu Koilis, we blow with the shofar. Now we say, the Gemara says that shofar is considered Chachme ve'eina Melucha. It's not a Melucha, it's a Chachme Tkiyah shofar. Regarding Shabbos, Ayom Tiv, it's a Chachme ve'eina Melucha. Now we say by davening, B'chachma Poiseach Sha'arim. So the Chassidish Sforim explain with Kiyah shofar that's Chachma ve'eina Melucha, we open up all the gates. Meyu Koilis, open up Meyu Sha'arim. So Vayizra Yitzchok Ba'oretz, you come on Rosh Hashanah, you take the shofar of Yitzchok, and with those Meyu Koilis, you open up the Meyu Sha'arim, B'chachma Pesach Sha'arim, Vayivarachei Hashem. So this,
Rosh Hashanah?
yeah, you look it up in Ben Ish Chai, Parashat Nitzuvim. He says you should say that Rosh Hashanah night 12 times. But I could give you another, who am I? But maybe on Parashat Toldot we could also say it. Every day, the idea of it is knowing that Hashem gives Vayizra Yitzchok. Yitzchok is like him doing the Pe'ila. The Gemara says, Emuna is Seid Zerayim. So the Rishalmi explains why. When a person plants, it's only with Emuna. Who said it's going to rain? Who said it's going to produce the fruits? He has a minna b'Hashem. Ma min b'chayu elumen v'zereya. Vayizra Yitzchok means Yitzchok had the minna b'Hashem and he was zereya. Now I want to add Taka to this something. Maybe that's the pshat and zevel pardois of Shal Yitzchok. I think that year it was a Eretz Kosher and it was a Shana Kosher. So most people that they had a little bit of tviyah left in their house, they didn't want to be Zereya planted because they were saying, we're going to just ruin the seeds. I could make of this some kemach, some flour and have to eat. Because if I'm going to plant it, it's going to get ruined. It's a tough year. It's a Eretz Kosher. That land is very tough. That the chances that something should be produced from this land this year are very, very slim. So rather, let me eat it up and finish. So most of the people, I'm sure, didn't do any zriyah, any planting that year. Yitzchok Avinu went out and he planted. And they were wondering, and he says, I don't run the picture. I'm doing what I have to do, and Hashem is going to do what he has to do, what I want him to do. So when he was planting Yitzchok, he was enforcing Emuna B'Hashem, Mamen B'chayu Alumen B'Zereya. more than that, maybe. Yitzchok went and he fertilized the land that year. And they were looking at him, nothing is going to grow. And you're busy fertilizing the land? And Yitzchok said, I do what I have to do. If there is a stadness of fertilizing, I'm going to fertilize. And in the end, grew in his land, Meir Shorem. And that's the pshat. Zevel pardoisov shel Yitzchok. The fertilizing that Yitzchok took, the fertilizer, he fertilized his field, his land. Even in such a case, it was an Eretz Kosher, and it was a Shona Kosher. He brought in such a strong emuna. That's the biggest bracha. That's the real ashiris. V'loi kaspa izova shalav Yimelech. Maybe I want to finish with a word. I once saw it brought down in the name of a big tzaddik that lived in America. He came to America even before the First World War, maybe. Maybe you know Hershey, the Malach. When did he come to America? Maybe even in the very early years. I think even before the First World War. His name was, I think, Reb Chaim Dov Ber Levine. Maybe he had another name, maybe Avram also. I don't remember exactly his name. And he came with a group of Chassidim, and they called them Maluchim, because they were so different from the whole atmosphere of America. They stayed very, very Orthodox, Chassidish, from. They called them Maluchim. He was the Rebbe. And he once said the gewaltige word. When Yaakov Avini comes out, it says, they called him Yaakov. Why? Because V'yodoi oichezes ba'akev Esav. He was holding in his hands the akev of Esav. He explained like this. Esav is the one that he also likes to do mitzvahs, but he only likes to do big mitzvahs. The akev, the mitzvah skalois, she'odom dosh be'akevov, like Rashi explains in Parashat Eikev, he doesn't like, Esav doesn't like it, and he steps on them. Yaakov Avini is holding in his hands those akev Esav, those small things that Esav looks at it, simple, it's nothing, it's not choshev, and he steps on them. Yaakov picks them up and he's holding it in his hands. He is being it machshiv. Every small mitzvah. That's the idea of Yaakov. Being machshiv and taking chiyas from every small thing. You make a bracha lefoneu, a bracha achreu. Every kissing the mezuzah, like we said before. Every small zach, a word of Torah that you learn. Every bit of chesed, every word of connecting to Hashem, talking to Hashem. Every brekele is gewaldig choshev. V'yodoi chesed b'akei v'esav. All should be zoiche, to all the best. Get Shabbos.